Boy, for a tall guy, he's got a lot of quickness, doesn't he?
He can use that leverage.
He really can,
reach all the way across. Difficult for Jackson right now dealing with the size. You're exactly right.
At first in sectionals. Is that last year?
Yes.
Jerry? Oh, that's pretty darn good.
This is the highlight match, one of the highlight matches.
We're just underway in what is a tremendous match, one of our highlight matches of the day in the 160-pound weight class. Richard Jackson from Central Catholic against Keil from Anthony Wayne. Keil leads 2-0 here in the first.
Yeah, he used a ankle pick to set Jackson down on his butt on the edge of the mat. Jackson was a little disgusted for giving up the 2-point takedown, but he hasn't been able to get out since. So for not being happy about giving it up, he really hasn't gotten that at least 1 point back. Keil doing a good job of maintaining possession.
Jackson was first in sectionals last year, second in league, and second district as well. Keil finished third in sectionals and third in league last year. He's 26-4 this year, and they just go out of bounds before the takedown. And you had mentioned off camera, he's going for a milestone.
Yeah, he's right now has career win 94 under his belt. He's looking for his 95th win and hoping to achieve that 100 milestone this season.
So there's the 1 point. He lets Jackson up, and it's 2-1.
Now this time he goes in with a double leg takedown, but his head's stuck in the middle, so it's going to be hard to finish. Now it pops out. And that's why it's important your head's on the outside. You can use that as a lever bar and push against the hip of your opponent.
They went out of bounds, though, so he didn't get the takedown. Now a single leg by Jackson.
That was the first time Jackson got to utilize his speed and picks up a knee real fast.
Can he complete the move, though?
Good defense by Keil, keeping the head in the ear in the wizard.
Keil's got a couple of inches on Jackson, height-wise. They're both very quick for this weight class. Attempted shoot in there by Jackson, but he was unable to control.
There's that ankle pick again.
And he's got the 2 points.
Keil's found something that's worked here. Central's having a difficult time. Is Jackson having a difficult time protecting his heels?
15 seconds now here, Jerry, in the first. 4-1 our score.
And so Anthony Wayne and Coach Donnelly want to keep him down and not give up a point here and keep that large point spread as large as it can be.
Yeah, Anthony Wayne needs it.
That's a sit-out switch attempt by Jackson. Stopped well by Keil.
8 seconds. Now 5 here in the first. 4-1 to score. And they're going to ride it out, and they'll reset.
So there's a small victory from the coach to the wrestler and maintaining possession that last 15 seconds and not giving up a 1 point. A whole bunch of small victories in a match add up to one large victory. So we'll see. So far, I'd say the match is in favor of Keil, and Jackson's got his work cut out for him. We spoke of the speed of Jackson. He was able to stand up initially, and then the length of Keil, as we spoke also of off camera that you noticed, able to reach around and return him to the mat from his knees.
That takes a lot of strength too, doesn't it?
Yeah, both. Maintaining that power and reaching it and bringing it back down correctly. Now the curious question here, the last time that Jackson got the point, he was released by Keil. So far he has not really successfully gotten out, and I think maybe Anthony Wayne coaching corners noticed this.
Trying to gain wrist control, riding the body down to the mat.
Tight gut wrench, and he's off to the side a little bit, although he is still on the hip. Both referees are checking to make sure that he comes off the hip. There again, that far reach, all the way to that far elbow.
Jackson standing to his feet now, and they go out.
Now, Keil was called for stalling because when Jackson got up to his feet, his responsibility is to return him to the mat immediately or show attempt that he's immediately trying to return him to the mat, and the referee didn't feel as though he did. They walked across the mat, and that's an indication of not returning your opponent to the mat.
Another stalling call, and it's a 1 point penalty. 1:12 to go here in the second period.
little bit of a mind game there, or a fake from Keil. He showed that he was going to volunteer release him with a diamond on the back, and when the whistle blew, he jumped on top for coverage. Trying to confuse his opponent, Jackson on bottom.
Still trying to gain the wrist control, has it now.
When Jackson's had the opportunity to stand up, he's been able to, but Keil has maintained possession. There again, across the elbow, and then uses his height. There it comes.
He did return to the mat, but they go out of bounds. I know what he said.
Jackson, I don't know. He watched his first two teammates go out there and take care of business. Came out pretty confidently and finds himself in a dogfight. And pressure is on him now with short time.
He's just a junior. Keil a junior as well. So they'll both be back next year.
There's a nice switch off from Keil to stop the stand-up. Instead of going for the far elbow, he reached down and checked the ankle. And that confused Jackson, yes. That confused him a little bit. He was expecting that spiral elbow.
25 seconds left here in the second.
Uh-oh. Now he walks underneath that armpit, does Keil, and Jackson get turned. Jackson trying to keep the near hip down.
Very close though here, Jerry.
Angle and pressure is what Keil is attempting right now. And Jackson is trying to be a cement block. Uh-oh, there's the angle.
Still in bounds, and now finally the time runs out. Third period, and it's a good one.
Yes, I bet you this is exactly the way Keil wanted the match to go, but now I see the hands on the hips. We were talking about that conditioning shortly ago. Both wrestlers exhausted because of that down wrestling. They weren't on their feet and moving around and collecting air in those lungs. Now here's a different stance, different position. You see Jackson's speed.
Jackson trailing now is gonna have to make some moves here in this period to get back in it.
He's got the front headlock, and you can score from this, a 2-point takedown and or some switches, but look at Keil's speed.
Keil reverses it and gains 2 points. What an incredible move.
Yep, Jackson went for the ankle, he slips out, comes out the back door.
So Jackson doing the right thing, being aggressive, but Keil was able to combat it.
And sometimes you know that he's coming, your opponent's down, so you can start to play defense and sucker him in. You know your opponent's coming. Now Keil comes in on 2 shots without any setup, and that makes Jackson's defense a little easier because there was no setup. Starting to circle to the right, and that's where Jackson likes to shoot, so he's got to be careful there. And guess what? Another ankle pick.
So Keil with the takedown to make it 9-1 now. And they go out of bounds.
And y'all at home will have to use your DVR to double check if that was 3 ankle picks or 4 ankle picks. But they all worked for 2-point takedowns for Keil and the hometown team. There is
escape point awarded.
There is the second volunteer release that Keil's given, and Jackson has had a hard time getting out from underneath here. There again, hands on the hips, trying to make his lungs square and trying to get some oxygen on his return to the mat is Keil. Jackson light on his feet.
Went in for the shot there, and Jackson was able to back away.
It's a short arm drag. It's pretty much a throw by, and Jackson was able to defend it.
Less than 40 seconds to go now here.
Now you see the leverage that Jackson's starting to apply. He's really pushing on Keil. He's hoping that Keil will push back so he can get a throw and maybe get that 5-point move and make this a match again.
Well, he's going to need a throw and a pin now.
And that's why he's standing tall against Keil and trying to use leverage. The takedowns aren't going to be enough.
We're just about ready to go under 25 seconds in this match.
So now Jackson a little bit out of position to get that front headlock. And there's Keil being smart. Good defense, good offense, so he shoots.
13 seconds now. And And the Anthony Wayne faithful could start to feel it.
There again, you know, the coaches, I'm familiar with both sides, and it's a well-coached match by Anthony Wayne. They wrestled their match, quote unquote. Again, pressure's on Jackson, and he just couldn't make it happen.
So Colin Keil defeats Richard Jackson in the 160-pound weight class.